Hello, welcome back to our weekly witnessing tip. I'm Gina.
I'm John.
And this week we are talking about how God can use you.
God can use you, right. I think about sometimes there are things people try, and at first they're really unsure, and then later on they discover, wow, that was really exciting. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Have you ever had something like that happen?
Yes, yeah. My husband is really into all things water, and so he wanted us to try snorkeling. And I was scared to death because of the waves and the coral and the sharks, but I did it and loved it, and still love to do it today. Yeah.
Nervous, then opened up a whole new world. That's so exciting. I've had experiences like that. Maybe you have as well. Recent one in our household, I have a son who's just always been into sports, all things sports. And then kind of on a whim and maybe a little encouragement from Dad, he tried drama kind of on the side, and he's like, Dad, there's not all this pressure that can sometimes go along with sports. He's like, as we're preparing, there's work, but we're having fun because at the end it's all about entertaining the crowd, and he's just having a blast. Again, just opened up a whole new world for him. And I think maybe that is something that people face when it comes to witnessing. They maybe think, I don't know if I could do this. And there are things, fears maybe, that are holding them back. I'm not as impetuous as Peter or fearless as Paul, but they didn't have it all together either. Right. I mean, Paul persecuted Christians. Peter denied the Lord. If you lift them up kind of as examples, okay, take a look at all the different people that God used throughout Scripture, right? I mean, I think about how Jacob was a cheater and Noah was a drunk. I think about Rahab the prostitute. I think David was an adulterer. I think about Jonah, how he was a runaway, or Martha. She was just worried about everything, right? I mean, you could make a case for all these different people. What's important to remember is God doesn't call people who are qualified. He qualifies people he calls. Boy, that is just really important to remember when it comes to witnessing.
Yeah, I think that's a great reminder for us because it's so easy to say, I'm not good enough, or to make excuses.
Yeah, and I think about with excuses, Moses. I mean, didn't he have excuses? Yeah. And maybe in a way that actually kind of insults God, rather than trusting in him, saying, hey, I'm with you. Moses, he was afraid, he lacked confidence. He said, in excuses, what if they don't listen to me? I'm not a very good speaker. And finally he just came out and said, I don't even want to do it. Find somebody else. Reminds me how Paul talked about God chooses the lowly. He chooses the weak. He chooses the foolish. And he does that because then Jesus has a way of shining all that much more. If you think you don't have it together, aren't in and of yourself perfect, you're probably even better suited to point to the one who is. If you don't think you've got all the power that you need, then you're going to be better positioned to rely on his. If you're unsure about being a very good speaker, well, then you're probably going to end up relying on his word all that much more. And I think about when Paul said, when I'm weak, then I'm strong.
Yeah, that's just like our theme this week. I mean, God can use you no matter what situation you're in, right? It's he's the one who's really at work.
Exactly.
And so any specific encouragements then that you can give us this week?
One of the things I just would encourage is be authentic. Beautiful part of Christianity, we don't have to say we always have it all together, and that's okay. You can kind of show your hand sometimes and say, I don't, but God does, and I know that he's in control. So be willing to kind of share and pull behind the curtain about, here's something I'm struggling with, but I trust that God is still with me through this. Let him turn your mess into a message. Let him turn your test into a testimony. And I think as you do, you're going to see how God really can use you. Yeah. His grace shines brightest through our weakness.
Yeah, and it's wonderful that we know we can be authentic. That's a gift that we have as Christians because of God's grace. Yeah. Right. If you have not seen yet our ministry booklet, this is something that that many of our contacts have received in the mail. This is something that you can request to receive. You can go on our website and just see really the many ways that God can use you, and that can be a powerful way for you to share his message and to let him work through you. So that's all for this week. We will see you next time.
God can use you. Go give him heaven.
Bye.